Okay, so let's get right into it. In one of the most volatile waterways on the entire planet, U.S. warships are on the move. And no, this isn't just a routine patrol. We're talking about a high-stakes, incredibly risky mission to clear a path through a minefield. And the global economy? Well, it's kind of hanging in the balance. Just look at this. This right here, an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, this is the tip of the spear. It's part of a huge naval operation that's happening right now. And it's all going down in the world's most critical oil choke point, the Strait of Hormuz. So here's the official headline from U.S. Central Command. 2 American warships have started pushing into the strait. Their job? To clear out mines that were laid by Iran. And, to be crystal clear, this is a really big deal because it's the first time U.S. ships have done anything like this since the war with Iran started. But why? Why all the focus on this one narrow strip of water? Well, it's because the Strait of Hormuz is what's known as a strategic choke point. Think about it. Every single day, 1/5 of the entire world's oil supply sails right through here. So if it gets blocked, the global economy feels that pain almost instantly. So what's the mission exactly? I mean, beyond just sailing through, what are these warships actually trying to do in such a dangerous, contested part of the world? Well, CENTCOM has laid out a pretty clear 4-step playbook. First up, the really dangerous part, clearing the Iranian mines. Once that's done, they'll map out a whole new safe pathway for other ships. Then they share that route with the entire global shipping industry. And all of this leads to the final goal, getting trade and commerce flowing freely again. And listen, this isn't just speculation. This is the official justification, coming straight from the top. The CENTCOM commander, Admiral Brad Cooper, he framed it as a logistical and economic necessity. The whole mission, he says, is about creating a safe passage to get the free flow of commerce back on track. So let's look at a few key details here. The mission's being led by 2 destroyers, the USS Frank E. Peterson and the USS Michael Murphy. They're also getting backup from other forces, including some pretty advanced underwater drones. But here's the part that makes this so risky. Reports are confirming this entire operation was not coordinated with Tehran. They're going in cold. So you have to ask, how did we even get here? I mean, a mission like this doesn't just happen in a vacuum, right? It's actually the latest step in a whole chain of events that has led to a very, very shaky ceasefire. This timeline really lays it all out. The conflict itself kicked off on February 28th, when the U.S. and Israel began bombing Iran. Tehran's response? They pretty much choked off the Strait of Hormuz with a bunch of sea mines. And that brings us to today, where clearing this shipping lane is a critical condition of that fragile ceasefire that's now in place. And this, right here, this is the heart of the whole conflict. The U.S. says clearing the strait is all about global commerce. Iran, on the other hand, says blocking it was a direct response to being attacked. You've got 2 sides looking at the exact same situation with 2 completely different realities. And of course, you can't ignore the politics of it all. President Trump has been very vocal on his Truth Social platform. He's insisting that even with a threat from the mines, Iran is, quote, losing big in the bigger conflict. So that frames this mission not just as some logistical task, but as a real show of American strength. But really, the impact of this mission goes way beyond the Persian Gulf. This is about a lifeline for the entire global economy. And it's a fair question. You might be wondering, with all the shipping lanes in the world, why on earth would you risk a potential war over this one single narrow waterway? Well, the answer comes down to one simple but massive fraction, 1/5. 20% of the entire planet's oil supply flows through this one choke point. So when it gets blocked, it isn't a regional problem. It's a full-blown global economic crisis. Now, back at the White House, the messaging is that America is basically providing an international service here. President Trump has actually framed this whole operation as a great favor to the rest of the world, arguing that the U.S. is the one securing the oil that all these other nations depend on. And he even named names. He specifically called out major economic powers like China, Japan, and France. His argument is that these countries rely so heavily on the oil coming through the strait, maybe they should be taking a more active role in securing it themselves. So, okay, we get the goal, get the oil flowing again. But this all raises a much, much bigger question about the potential risks. What is the ultimate cost of this high-stakes operation? And the danger is incredibly real. Even the president has acknowledged that those Iranian mines are still a huge threat. He said the only leverage Tehran has is the chance that a ship might bunk into one of their sea mines. Just think, a single stray mine could change everything in an instant. And that leaves us with the ultimate cliffhanger. This mission is a huge gamble. Will clearing a path for oil tankers be the thing that finally secures a fragile peace? Or could one tiny miscalculation, one accident in these tense waters, be the spark that escalates this shaky ceasefire into a much wider, more devastating conflict? That is the question on everyone's mind.